This is the University of Leeds' new research woodland, and for World Soils Day 2023, we're taking a look at some of the soils research that has already happened on site at Gair Wood. It's been really important from the very beginning that we look at the soils here, because it doesn't just matter how we record it as it changes over time, but also it matters for what trees we planted in the first place. So we started by digging pits 70 centimetres down into the soil and measuring what we could find. We found a variety of sandy loams and clay soils, and that informed via the ESC criteria what we were able to plant. As well as that, we looked at the vegetation on top of the soils, which gave us an idea very roughly of the kinds of nutrients we might be able to find. Where there was a greater diversity of grasses, that meant that no one thing was able to dominate, so it tends to mean that there is less nutrients in the soil. Where there were only one or two species of grass, we knew that the soil was going to be much more fertile, and this meant that grass might be more able to compete out the trees that we wanted to plant. So knowing all of this, we ran some models looking at how the climate might change as well in the next 50 to 100 years. And from all of those, we were able to get an idea of which species would be most suitable to plant at the site. Because we don't just want to plant species of trees, we want them to survive and to flourish, even if the climate changes, and to work with the soils that we've got here on site. But as the woodland continues to grow, the soils themselves will start to change, and we want to know exactly how that's happening. So we've got more soil cores taken and stored at -20 degrees C at the university, where we'll be able to reference back to them versus soils taken in future years too. We'll be able to look at the rhizosphere community, the microbes, the fungi, and see how those might change as new plants are growing on top of the soil, and particularly as tree roots start to penetrate downwards. We'll also be able to look at changing nutrients in the soil, the amount of carbon stored in the soils themselves. But these chemical and biological changes are just part of the picture. We also have temperature probes into the soils themselves, measuring at ground level, just above the ground and just below it. And those are constantly taking measurements on site. These probes help to back up our weather station on site as well, but gives us a much wider idea of what's going on all around Gair Wood. Soils very literally underlie everything that we do at Gair Wood. So it's really important we pay them the appropriate amount of attention. And it's really exciting now to look forward to the next 5, 10, 100 years to think about what kinds of things we're going to be discovering about how woodlands begin to grow.